Oh, hi everyone and welcome to Rotting Shadows. Before we go around and say hello to all of these amazing faces around the table today, please take a moment to check out the following links with me, starting with our social links. There is no such thing as social distancing. Doesn't exist. Physical distancing is a different thing, and you can do it using these tools. Discord, Twitter, and YouTube. Come and be a part of the family. Discord, probably the #1 place to get Academy updates and really feel like a part of the community. Everywhere else will make you feel like a part of the community, but the Discord's just really nice. You know, just real nice. Slamming down. It's nice, damn it! On Twitter, you can find all sorts of content from us. We're talking about all of our most recent streams. We have regular tweets when our shows go live, including this one. Please retweet. Every 10 retweets, we have some magical stuff happen. And YouTube, 6,000-ish hours of content over there, split into 36-hour seasons, which you can binge watch at your leisure. Or possibly leisure, right? For American? I don't know. Anyway, go and check it out. Also, if you want to get involved in a game, head over to our sign-up sheet. You can sign up there, let me know your availability and any other relevant information about yourself that you would like considered before you have a game, and I will get you on my busy schedule. I don't think we're going to get any more people in on this season, maybe a couple, but we will be looking at that list as we plan our viewer games for next season, beginning in July. So get your name down and your availability down in now, so that we can plan something that is likely to suit you in the future. Sponsors! Check out our sponsors, starting with The Deck of Many. The Deck of Many Things are currently running a Kickstarter on more animated moving picture cards, very much like these ones. This is the Deck of Many Things. They're currently kickstarting level 6 to 9 SRD spells and an animated tarot deck, amongst a bunch of other cool things. Like, I think $500,000 they were planning to release a book about their artwork as well. And honestly, I haven't checked the Kickstarter yet today while we've been live, so they've probably already smashed that. They were funded in 15 minutes. You know that's a hype Kickstarter. Go and check it out. Also check out Mage Hand Press. Mage Hand Press for all of your expansions for 5e. Check out their Faitholio expansion here on Wednesdays at 6 PM EDT, run by the fantastic Mackenzie Lane, lead writer for Cena Una, amongst a million other very famous accolades. You should go and check all those out. Also, check out all of their other PDFs, which are currently on a 25% discount to support physical distancing. Also, check out Hero Forge. Hero Forge will be our very next stream after this one at 2 PM EDT tomorrow. You can find us playing with the Hero Forge 2.0 beta color mini tool, where we'll be making digital versions of these color minis. This is from their prototype released some time ago as part of their Hero Forge 2.0 $3.1 million 6,000% Kickstarter. It looks incredible. It's full colored resin. This is not painted. Look at the wings. Look at the wings. This is not painted. That is a fully resin printed color resin model. It's fantastic. And you can find us making all sorts of fantastic characters over there. Barry Knight, my character today, he's in the Discord under the Painting in the Forge thing. You can go and find Barry in there. He's also in the Rotting Shadows one. Dungeon Fall! Dungeon Fall! La 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 la! Let's take that back. Dungeon Fog! Dungeon Fog for all of your map making needs. Head over to Dungeon Fog. You've got top-down map making functionality where you can make all sorts of buildings and terrains and fantastic things with tons of free assets. You like the look of the premium assets too? I know I do. You can get in there using our special code Scratticus for a 10% discount, getting yourself a discount on their premium assets. Not only that, as you update your map, your DM notes update for you. It's a fantastic site. Go and check it out. It's a lot of fun. Let's hand over to our player, DM extraordinaire, Witherbrick. Oh, hi. How are you doing? Introduce everyone and give a shout out to Riddler while they're not here.
Oh, hey, I'm Ray. Yeah, so tonight, it's Riddler. It's the Riddler Yes, that is their handle. It's the Riddler on Twitter. D could not be with us. They are not feeling well. So super shout out to Cassandra and D. We love you. But hi. Hey, I'm Ray. And I am the DM of this wacky, crazy adventuring crew. And I love every second of it. I am with Brick on the interwebs with 2Ks. If you go over to my Twitter, I have a link tree of all the things that I do. I have stuff on DM's Guild. I am also on the Encounter Roleplay channel. I am there on Thursdays and Fridays now. And I do a lot of other cool, really awesome things in the community, or at least I try to. You can also catch me at the charity stream that just got announced later on in June on the Scratticus Academy. I'll be DMing on that game too. So come and support all the crazy awesome things that this channel and every channel has to offer, because this community is great. But yeah, that's me in a small nutshell. We'll bring it around. Let's go to Madam Gandalf. You're like down the corner.
Hi, I'm Madam Gandalf down in the corner. That sounds like actually like I'm Madam Gandalf from down on the corner. Welcome to getting to play a little bit of D&D on the Scratticus Academy. My name's Madam Gandalf, and I play Eva, the bard tiefling, and she's a little bit all over the place, a little bit randomly insightful, a little bit also can't remember people's names, but I am so glad to get to play out my eccentricities here at the Academy amongst this beautiful group of people that just accept you for every little weird eccentricity you have, and give you a world that's really fun to play them in as well. So yeah, thank you so much for letting me be here again this week, and I'm gonna pass this on to Anita.
Punisher.
Oh, hi. I'm Anita, or Panita. Pretty much find me all over the net as Panita. I am a streamer, I guess. That's what I'm doing now. Hi. Yeah, so I am here on Tuesdays, oftentimes on Joshua Barbeau's channel on Wednesdays. And then I am starting my own channel at Critical Misses on Twitch. That's a thing. That's a whole thing. And I play Finny, the sad boy cleric today.
Is that like the channel name as well? Critical Misses?
Yeah.
Is that
Critical Misses is my
oh,
channel.
so if I type in SO Critical Misses, it won't give me an API error? Oh my goodness! Everyone go and follow. Everyone go and follow, including myself. Let's go. Follow train. Fuck it. Let's run a raid right now.
I don't have anything up.
Everyone go and follow that link. We want to see the Academy. We love bringing new people onto the channel, but you know what else we love? We love raising other people up as well. D&D is for everyone, and you know what? There's a lot more players out there than I can fit in a month. Let's share this wonderful thing with everyone, and who better than Panita to carry on carrying that torch?
Aw, thanks, Scrat.
This is all. I'm Scratticus. This is actually a fake accent. I'm actually from all sorts of places. I'm
New Brunswick.
Yeah, from Birmingham. Yeah, I'm a Brummie. No. I can barely do a Birmingham accent anyway. Yeah, hi, Barry Knight. I'm not nervous and stalling because Barry went off on his own stupid idea of an adventure and found something, and curiosity is literally gonna kill the goddamn cat. No, this is fine. This is fine.
This is fun.
This is fine.
It will be fine. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah. So last week, everybody decided that they were going to do an extravagant performance at a tavern, asked around, and was told of the place called the Yellow Room. Upon entering, there was no yellow in this room, but you decided to enter anyways. You met the beautiful barkeep and kind of conversed, got some drinks, tried the local fare, and decided that this would be your little stop on the entertainment train known as the Barry and Eva Show. This time you had roped Cassandra into your shenanigans as being an ex-ballet dancer. decided to pizzazz up the show a little bit, and you actually did a very amazing job. It was probably one of the best, if not the best performance you all have put together so far. And the very cool thing about the Yellow Room was that as everybody kind of came in and the lights dimmed low and it got dark in nighttime, these special candles illuminated the white kind of tribal designs that were on the walls into a yellow, beautiful kind of neon show. And that paired with the dancing and the music kind of made this night very ethereal and awesome for you all. After the events of the evening, most of everybody went to go bed down for the night at the rooms that were offered by the tavern for doing so well. However, Barry had decided to drunkenly sneak off on his own and do some reconnaissance, for lack of a better term, and has now fallen into whatever situation he has gotten himself into in the basement of the council hall, the most sacred and important building in all of Uluru. There were.
I don't want to talk about it. Do we have to talk about it? I don't want
Yes,
to
we
talk
do.
about it.
There's a circular. I'm trying to make sure you remember what situation you're in as well. Because
How
there's
could I
a circular
forget?
room. You crawled into a grate, basically a manhole. It ended up being a room, a very small 5x5, basically cement cell with a 3-foot tall door. You opened the door and kind of slunk underneath it with your tabaxi forum and opened another door that was in this chamber. This chamber was circular and had 6 doors all around it, same 3-foot high status. Decided to open a random door and sneak inside, and you are now in front of a creature that is just stirring awake. And as it turns its face to you, you see 2 big, buggy, weird, amphibian-like eyes, a piranha-like jaw, and a big, weird, kind of bulbous body with like webbed hands and toes. This creature looks at you and is startled and kind of like shakes its head awake and stammers back into the corner of the room and just looks at you and starts like gurgling, trying to talk. What languages do you speak?
Ah! I speak Common and Elvish.
You have no idea what this creature is saying to you.
But
it
hang on.
Looks terrified.
I'm going to thrust my hand deep into the recesses of my wizardly robe and produce a pan flute.
You see the creature like continue to kind of stammer back, and now it's like trying to push itself up the wall, like it is
When you
terrified.
can't communicate via words, perhaps you can communicate via... I'm gonna look pleadingly at the creature.
Please roll me a persuasion check with disadvantage. And take one of my tokens off. A very large stack of disadvantages.
Could I persuade you to let me use performance?
Yeah, performance, but it has to be a disadvantage.
A disadvantage, that's fine.
Yeah.
11? That's the 2 worst rolls I've ever seen in a disadvantage roll, but this is fine.
Yeah, with an 11, it starts to ease up the tiniest bit. It doesn't seem like its body is like relaxed, but it does seem a little bit more like willing to work with you. It just starts gurgling again, like.
Hey!
Hold on one sec. We're gonna see what this. Okay. Okay. He shuffles over to the other side across the 5-foot expanse and kind of just like runs into the corner of that part of the wall. And as he does, he like looks over in your direction and goes to like swipe at you, but not in a way where it's like he's not purposely trying to hurt you. He's just trying to say like, get back. Like it's very much like a get away from me. And he like stammers back into the corner.
Oh boy. Okay. This is gonna be awful. But here's what I'm gonna try and do. I am going to pretend like, and this is gonna be just bad acting all the way through. Barry is not an actor, but hey, they know a little about performing. They're gonna make the big ears, like stage ears of, and then dash out the door. I'm gonna burn a spell slot and turn invisible, and then go where I went that way out the door. I'm gonna invisibly go this way past the door and stand on that side.
Okay. So you are, let me get this straight. You are dramatically going, like, excusing yourself from the room. And as you excuse yourself from the room, turning invisible and hiding behind that door.
Not necessarily hiding behind the door. I'm going to go out as if I'm going towards the exit the way I came. But then as soon as I get out of sight, I'm going to go invisible and then go the other way.
Gotcha. Not a problem. All right. Okay. The creature sees you do this, and because you have left the door open, it like sits for, you see it kind of like sit for a moment and settle itself on the ground, wait and listen, and then it like pops its head into the door frame.
After 6 seconds.
Okay.
I'm gonna drop invisibility and cast Disguise Self on myself. I want to look like the creature, except I'm wearing something that looks a bit like I might imagine a uniform to look like, and I'm carrying a long trident fork, like a frog out of Final Fantasy VII, the original.
Perfect.
And I'm gonna like slappy, like I don't know why, but I'm imagining this thing to be like a frog, so I'm gonna do like the slappy leg run as if I'm chasing someone that way.
Okay. Roll me really quickly. Just roll me straight intelligence check. Just roll me an intelligence check to see if you know what this creature is.
I'm so bad at that. Oh dear. Oh, I did not school well. I'm a wizard, everyone. Intelligence is my dump stat.
Okay. Very good. You know this is a Kuatoa. This is a fish creature. So
of course. Yeah. Yeah, I know all about the fish.
So as it kind of peeks its head into the frame of the door frame about 6 seconds later when you do this, it kind of catches you right, like the moment after you transform, and sees you in your new disguised self form, and its eyes go wide, and it kind of like starts to like stammer out of the room very quietly, but like hurriedly at the same time, and starts to like gurgle in low tones to you, trying to be like,
I'm you know, here we go. I'm just gonna make a noise
and put your finger out to your mouth,
and then make like the be very quiet motions to it, and try and convince it to Elmer Fudd with me towards the exit.
Yeah, it definitely, like, as soon as you do like the hiss and the finger, that I think every creature, humanoid in bestial alike, know what this symbol means. so it also starts to like Elmer Fudd behind you and kind of like tiptoe, and it's very comical because you both are just like picking it. It's almost like Mike Wazowski walking, like the way that his like legs kind of go like this.
Oh, and
And,
I'm totally playing up to that as well. I'm lifting my.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird, you know. It's weird and hind leg walking. You know, we were made for jump, but still, I'm gonna be doing all of that business.
Perfect. And where are you heading? Like, where are you walking?
I'm committed at this point. I'm gonna make as if I'm as if I'm hunting someone towards the exit, as though I'm hunting myself. This is. I've got. You know, I was kind of hoping that the creature would look at me and think, oh well, they've got it covered. That was Barry's logic anyway. Doesn't seem to have been panning out. We're here now. Let's carry on.
Yeah, it's like very close to you. They are kind of almost hanging on to like your little like uniforms coat. They seem to be very like scared in it and very thankful to be following you out. And as you go back into the small room of which you had left the door open that you entered originally in, it is about 10 feet from where the floor is to that hole that you came into.
Okay.
And there's like when you crawl down, like you use kind of like the scaling on the wall, like you could definitely climb back up, but you're not quite sure if this creature could.
Okay.
But the hole is still uncovered.
Okay. I'm gonna take my illusionary trident. I'm gonna put it up through the hole and minor illusion with sounds and visuals, as is the joy of being an illusion wizard. Me sliding the grate back across, then very theatrically turn back to the creature and woo!
The creature starts freaking out, seeing you put the grate back over the hole, and like turning back to it. It's kind of like, and it's like telling you to move it back. He just like, he's pointing in like,
I take the trident and I push it open again. Same sliding sound. I'm so committed to this now. Like, I slide it open. And
yeah, it's very much like happy that it is open. And now it's like
I just gesture to myself. I'm gonna go into the dark corner. No. I'm gonna look to the creature. I'm gonna turn my face away, okay? And I'm gonna alter what's it called? I've got malleable illusion, so I'm gonna alter the disguise self to do my face up like mime paint. I'm gonna turn around and then like start patting for like a surface. I'm gonna cast Tensor's floating disc. And then tread on the creature on the disc. And then offer a hand to the creature to see if they can get up from the disc.
So you're trying to fit both of you on the floating disc to raise you up?
Oh, I'll get out of the way if they need to, you know.
Okay. No, and it like understands what you're doing, so they start to crawl on there and just like kind of wrap their arms around you to like hold on to you and stay on the disc, because it like, as he steps on, he like does one of the feely test things and is like, okay, where's the edge? So then it like stands on the edge and just kind of like wraps its arms around you.
Oh, thank goodness Tensor's floating disc isn't concentration. I nearly had a panic attack. Okay. Well, I'm gonna like... In the most Tom and Jerry way of communicating that has ever been done. I'm like...
It looks at you with like just like this face of absolute confusion. How high does the disc cover? Isn't it just like right off the ground?
It floats 3 feet above the ground.
Okay, so
it's
yeah,
like a coffee table.
Yeah, so there's 7 feet between where y'all are standing and the bottom of where like the grate is to get out.
How far?
And
how
he
high?
very much looks like he's trying to get out. It's 7 feet from. If you reach up, how tall is Barry?
Barry's 5'10". Yeah.
Yeah, so you only have like 2 extra feet from if you extend your arms. You've got like maybe another foot and a half before you would be able to grab and like pull yourself up technically.
All right, is that
Barry would. The figure that you are next to is only like 3.5 feet, 4 feet tall.
Is there any junk around?
Not in the room you're in, but you are more than welcome to look around.
When I was like dancing lights around earlier.
Yeah.
Was there any junk?
No, it's a bare chamber in the room. The circular room with the other doors was a bare chamber besides.
Wait, it's a bare chamber?
No.
Do I need to roll initiative?
No, not yet. But yeah, it's bare floor, just stone floor with the wooden doors and the stone walls, and it has like another like grate in the center of that room. And all the other doors besides the one that you went into and the one that creature came out of are open.
Can I reach the grate?
If you were to slightly jump and I'll have you make an acrobatics or an athletics check. You can jump from the disc to see if you can get that extra like foot.
Yeah, I want to grab the grate.
Okay. Yeah, roll me athletics or acrobatics. You can choose. Ooh, perfect. Yeah, so you kind of like position yourself even with the other Kuatoa on the disc with you. You kind of position yourself in very, very feline, ready to pounce. Kind of does like this swan dive like upwards, and you grab onto both sides of where the grate was being held and make me a strength check. To see if you can pull yourself up and out of the grate.
Oh, I'm not trying to pull myself out. I just want to pull the grate down.
Oh, you want to pull the grate down? Yeah. Yeah, you pull the grate down. I wouldn't even make you do a strength check from like the body weight and you pulling. Right. Yeah, the grate pulls down.
Now, this is going to be a bit Heath Robinson. I want to precariously balance the grate against the edge of the wall. I'm going to push Tensor's floating disc right up against the wall and put the grate against the wall and be like, wah!
Okay, yeah.
Slap it! Yeah, this is so safe you could fit a whole bunch of fish people in this, baby. You can fit so many fish people.
So many fish people. Okay, so as you do this, as you pull the grate down, it makes sort of like that heavy metal scraping sound as it comes down and as you prop it up, and you do hear footsteps that are coming behind you. You assume down some set of stairs that could be close to you. You are not sure which door these are coming from.
Shit.
The Kuatoa you were with also hears this and kind of just like slowly starts being like.
I'm gonna like go.
And like starts to like try to like climb out. He's like freaking out and trying to.
I'm not pulling him down. Not like don't be stupid. Down. And then like I'm gonna reach into my bag and pull out a wizard's hat. And cast greater invisibility.
Okay.
Yes, I'm gonna use all of my spell slots in this first short section.
So as it starts to freak out and you kind of like grab it and hold it and like kind of look into this buggy fish-like eyes, you tell it to be quiet one more time, and this Kuatoa kind of like calms down And as he calms down in that last moment, while you hear like what sounds like stone moving on stone. And as this stone cylindrical tube kind of starts to press in from the ceiling of the center of the room, you cast greater invisibility and you both go invisible. And as you do this, the stone cylindrical tube in the center starts to lower, and you see Archdruid Kuvaris is in the middle of this stone dais and is like descending into the room.
Okay. As soon as it's gonna have to be regular invisibility. Actually, I can only cast greater invisibility on one person, so it'll be regular invisibility, but at level 3 to include the creature.
Awesome.
And I'm gonna immediately, as soon as we both turn invisible, just go to where it was as quickly as possible and slap my hand over its mouth. I don't have disguise self on or anything like that. This is physical, so it can feel a cat mouth, a cat hand, but that's fine. We're just gonna hold it and then like gently like put my finger to its lips again. Sort of like something from Team America.
Yeah, as this all happens and it realizes that it is now invisible and you are invisible, but it can feel you, it starts to like squirm, but he's being quiet. And he calms down after a moment and also sees Archdruid Kuvaris come through the tube. And as he sees him, you see his eyes go wide in this like weird transition state, since you're both invisible. And I can see him.
That's great.
Yeah, like, so I should have said this a long time ago. If you and somebody else are invisible under the same spell, you, in my homebrew world, the person who casts the spell can see where the other people are, because you are also channeling that energy, but they cannot see you. So they know that you're invisible because they feel you in front of them and can't see you, but you can see like this very light gray, shimmery, translucent like outline of where he is. You can't see features, but you can see like an outline, almost like an aura.
I just had an amazing flashback to about 2.5 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, when me and Will of Encounter Roleplay both went invisible and went to a milk bar, leaving Madame Gandalf to deal with a boss monster. Good times. Good times.
Oh my God. Savage. Savage.
You know, I'd forgotten that. I won't be here next week, everyone.
Love it. It's
No.
so great.
Okay, I'm going to be Elmer fudding it again with them. They can now see Emma Tabaxi, but that's fine.
Yes,
If they're not freaking
and-
out, I'm not freaking out.
Okay, so as this happens, Archdruid Kuvaris, the center the stone dais that he's standing on kind of hits the bottom of the floor, and he looks over to his right to see an open door, looks over to his left and sees an open door, and he heads into the one on the right, on the one across from you, the cell that held the Kuatoa.
But
and
he doesn't see the grate floating in midair. He's happy with that. Oh shit! It would have made a loud clang sound because as soon as I dropped the Tensor's floating disc.
Yeah.
No, Tensor's floating disc is not concentration. I keep thinking it is, but it's not. So there is a floating grate.
Yeah, it's not. So you're fine. So there is a floating grate. So it walks
Alma
in.
fudding again.
Yes. So he walks in and sees this weird floating grate propped up against the wall, and looks at it and looks up and sees that the hole is there, and then immediately turns around and starts to head in the opposite direction towards the room that you and the Kuatoa are standing in. Where are you, Elmer? Where are you going from and to? So you're going from the opposite room. Where are you going to?
Following them. I remember playing hide and seek as a kitten. All the time you know where your seeker is, it's easy to avoid them. As soon as you don't know, bam, they found you. Gonna follow them.
Okay, so as he turns and follows into the next room, or goes into the next room, and you follow behind, can I get a stealth check from you? And
Do I get advantage because of invisibility?
Oh, fine. I'll let you have an advantage only because you and the Kuatoa are invisible and he's staying quiet behind you. So.
Yeah.
I rolled a natural 1 and then a natural 20. So he also is extremely silent behind you. And also is Elmer footing. Archdruid Kovaris does not notice that you are following behind. What are you doing? Are you just straight following behind and seeing what he does first? Or
Yeah, I'm following him. I've got Dutch courage. Let's go. I've been drinking whiskey all night.
Yeah, so you are still slightly tipsy during
He's a
this
villain.
entire thing.
Yeah.
So
That's why this all seems like a good idea.
So he goes into the empty room that is across from where you were trying to get out of, and into the original cell that held the Kuatoa, and looks in it. Doesn't see any floating discs. Doesn't see any floating crates. Looks up. The hole or the grate that is in that wall or ceiling is shut, and kind of like you see him like stroke his chin, look around. Like very confused, like physically confused.
I so suddenly wish that I'd taken any kind of divination spell. Any divination spell, but I have none. So while Scrat dreams of detect thoughts, there is naught Barry can do.
And so then he turns around and taps, like he's tapping his chin, like very aggressively and very like frustrated, but also kind of nervous. And you see him kind of turn around and like go out back onto the center of the dais, and it starts to slowly rise up. Are you following him onto the dais and rising up, or are you staying below?
I'm going to stay below.
Okay. So
Can
as
I
he
drunkenly figure out the direction of the bar?
From where you are in the basement?
Yes.
Roll me just straight give me an intelligence saving throw.
I'd like to burn one of my recently donated nat 20s, please.
Absolutely, yeah. So in this moment, you kind of have almost the like a That's So Raven psychic vision, and in this one moment of needed intelligence, you kind of steady yourself in your tipsy stance, and you go, all right, mind's eye. And you can tell from where you are in the chamber across, and like kind of like going behind you and having this like tunnel vision. You do generally, in your mind's eye, know that where you are standing facing the inside of the chamber, that it is south, so behind you, and slightly west. And it's about like a 5-minute walk. You do remember it took you about like 5 minutes.
Okay. I'm gonna turn in that direction. I'm gonna like do the drunken pointing my finger thing. Thank you very much, Kent, for that subscription. Talk of hype trains in here. My goodness. I'm gonna point in that direction. I'm gonna dive into my pockets and produce a piece of copper, which I'm going to take firmly in my right hand as I form the semantic components, the message. And I'm hoping for Eva, but I'll gladly take Finny. I'm gonna point in that direction and go, Eva! Finny! Psst, wake up! We can only talk every 6 seconds, wake up!
I guess if it's successfully getting to Eva.
I was just gonna ask, what is the range on the spell?
Oh, that's a great question. That is a very good question. It's like the only useful spell I took, I think.
Mood.
And not even that, I just remember us using it in the Basilisk Cave, right? I am remembering that right.
Mm-hmm.
1 round. Oh, 120 feet. 120 feet. Oh, no. Oh.
It is just shy. Eva does not reach you.
The cut away to like Eva is just lying in bed, just talking to us like, right, the lightning French king.
I can like shake my phone and make the international signs for no signal, like.
And at this point, after you have attempted to cast message, the dais has finally rise completely up, and you had heard Kovaris, galloping, trotting away in a fairly hurried stance.
Great. That'll work. Okay. Maintaining invisibility still. I'm gonna head towards the Doohickey-Majiggy. Thank you everyone for this hype train kicking off in chat, by the way. We're at level 2, coming straight in at level 2 with 4 minutes left on the hype train. At level 1, we all get 2 advantages. At level 2, Ray gets another 8 disadvantages on that mountain of disadvantages that she currently has. At level 3, we all get 2 nat 20s, and at level 4, we all draw from the deck of many. If we hit level 5, all of those things are simultaneously gifted. I have fear. Anyway, I'm gonna maintain invisibility. I'm gonna gesture to the thing and be like, come on, this.
And it just like trots off after you.
No! Whoa. Shh. Wow. Alex, you hooligan. Absolute hooligan. I'm gonna I'm gonna head back towards where I saw Archmage Hovis,
Eggs. Erdstrud eggs.
Eggs, something. And I'm gonna try and figure out how the disc works.
Okay, roll me an Arcana check. Erdstrud Jose Cuervo, of course. We all know.
I can't possibly give myself advantage on this. It does not suit Barry at all. Okay, Barry apparently is feeling pretty good today.
So you decipher or kind of figure out through the means that it came down, rise back up, that it was some sort of like heat spell that he has like access to a lever, like something from the top level that rises it up and down. There's nothing on this bottom level that you discern with that check that will allow you to access the same sort of levitation.
Okay.
And from that, you are gathering from all of this and the way that the chamber looks and everything that this is some sort of prison chamber. So you don't assume that there is any way to get to the next level besides going out one of the grates you had come into.
Ken is also a hooligan. Thank you so much, everyone. We just beat level 2. If we remain at this level, Ray gets another 8 disadvantages to use against us. I'm gonna explain to the person. I'm gonna be like, right. And I'm gonna climb out of the grate thing again. I'm gonna go hop on my thing. I'm gonna use the grate and spring off it and jump on up. Thank you for all the donos, everyone. And I'm gonna try and pull myself out again.
Yeah, roll me strength saving throw to pull yourself up from this parkour.
Oh.
Yeah, and once again, like you spring off of it and you're hanging there, but you're just not getting, your drunken muscles are not working today. And you are having a hard time. You are getting up and holding yourself, but you can't pull yourself up with that weight.
Okay. I've got this. I can do this. I'm drunk. No inhibitions. How far away are we from where the thing is? Where the wow disc is?
If you're back in the room, it's about maybe 15 feet.
From where I am at the grate?
From where you are to like the center of where that dais was. If you want to go to the edge of it, it'd be like 10 feet.
Okay. I'm drunk. I'm the amazing Barry Knight. I'm basically Neo. Here we go. I'm going to run up the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to spring up so that I don't necessarily get out, but I can see where the thing is, and then I'm going to major illusion a guard shouting, "Help! They went down this way! Help!"
Okay. What are you trying? So you're major illusioning a guard. Are you major illusioning it inside the basement or outside of the grate where you're trying to jump?
Where the thing is. Basically what I'm trying to do is bring guards to come and activate this thing so that they all come down, and then we can invisibility and just get back on it and yeet.
Yeah. Okay. So you made your illusion like a guard in the basement kind of shouting up saying, "Oh, they've escaped. They've escaped." And it takes like maybe 1 or 2 more minutes, but you do hear Archdruid Kovaris like coming back. You hear his hooked feet of his centaur form.
Okay, so as I begin to hear them, I'm gonna be like, "I'm going down after them," and then dispel. No need for this. No.
Perfect.
And then I'm gonna go back down to the person, and that is a concentration, so the invisibility would have dropped on the fish person. I'm gonna pray they're still there.
They're still there. They're just standing there.
I'm gonna invisibility us both again. That is my last 3rd level spell slot.
All right. And as you make yourselves invisible again. Whew, I can't word. The dais starts to lower once again, and Archdruid Kovaris is standing on it. And as it hits the bottom rock once again, he like aggressively starts to charge around this chamber, looking in the doors. He's opening the other doors that you haven't even opened yet, and making sure that the whatever is inside those doors are in those doors, and makes it back to the door in front of where you and the Kuatoa are standing invisible.
As he's looking around, that's level 3. Thank you, everyone. Oh my god. As he's looking around, I want to minor illusion right over where the gate was, the sound of our fishy friend going.
Yeah, absolutely. So it all of a sudden you hear the sound that you create from behind, and Archdruid Kovaris turns around quickly and starts to charge into that room, in that 3-foot door.
Okay, on the thing, both of us. I'm like grabbing the fish person. I'm like literally just trying to drag them. I'm not strong.
Yeah, he's like coming with you. He's like very much willing to go where
on
you
the
are
thing.
Going. So you are now standing on the stone dais?
Yes, both of us.
Okay. So as you are standing on the stone dais, you see Archdruid Kovaris like bust into the room, and you see that 3-foot door that was 3 feet just a moment before. You see it extend upwards so that Archdruid Kovaris can go into the room, his full centaur form. And as he charges into the room and looks up at the grate, and like you see this beam of like purple energy shoot up, and then there's a moment of silence. And he kind of looks around again.
I'm desperately like tapping the thing, looking for buttons. I'm like
Roll me an Arcana check. Yeah, roll me one more Arcana check. And as you're doing this hurriedly, I'm gonna have you do it with disadvantage and burn another.
7.
Yeah, as you are trying to like quietly like push your foot down and move and kind of wave your hands and look up to see if there's any sigils or anything that you see. And from the angle that you're standing at and moving around and kind of like being nervous and twitchy at the same time, trying to be quiet while you're doing this, you are just not understanding how this is rising and falling, and you're just not seeing the connection that you need to be making. But as you're doing this, Archdruid Kovaris is kind of like just standing in the room. There's an awkward, tense silence as the purple light fades from where he shot up through the grate. And as he doesn't hear anything, he himself picks up the grate with one hand and puts it back up on top and closes it once again and slowly exits the room. The door goes back down to being 3 foot tall.
How
and
big?
He stands back on the dais.
How big is this dais? Can we all fit on here?
Yeah, it's about 10 foot diameter.
Oh, I thought it was like a little thing for like one person.
The entire.
I was getting ready to dive.
Yeah, so from one side of the chamber to the other is about 20 feet. So this covers about 10 feet in the center of that. So then there's like 5 feet on every side of it to go from the dais to the room. And then the rooms are very, very small as you've experienced. They're like roughly 7 feet by 7 feet. They're like just under 10 foot.
Yeah. Okay, so we're just gonna. And also, thank you very much, everyone, for 10 retweets. We've hit 10 retweets now. Everyone, type roll in chat. Exclamation point roll to roll some dice. We will get those wild magic surges knocked up. And we will apply them to the characters very shortly. Also, thank you very much for this hype train. We're currently sitting at level 4. We're at 20%. Level 4, if we do hit 100%, will involve us drawing from the deck of many, which I will shuffle, but I just cut the deck randomly to show you an example, and I drew the fucking skull card. So, yeah, this is great. This is great. Everything's great. This is fine. I'm fine. Nothing's wrong. Fine. This is fine. Carry on. Hi. Yep, let's carry on.
So as Archduke Kovaris comes and stands on this dais with you, he's only about maybe like 3 or 4 feet away from you, just standing there kind of on the right side of the dais, and you were standing on the left. And you see him kind of like wave his hand, and a sigil on the ceiling of the next room lights up. And as he waves his hand, the sigil lights up, and you start to see the dais kind of rotate and go back upwards. And it takes about another minute or two, but you hear the kukum of the stone setting back in place, and Archduke Kovaris steps off the dais and goes into this room. Roll me a perception check. So in your kind of like still tipsy and slightly drunken stage, you kind of look around very hurriedly as to not make too much noise and to take in as much as you can before you need to make your next move. And you see that this room is pretty simple. There are sconces hanging from the ceiling, little braziers actually that are like rounded. They have 4 candles, so the room is dimly lit at this time. The silks and everything on the walls very much emulate the council hall room that you were in. But this looks to be just like a separate little side room. You do see the sigil on the ceiling, and you see 2 other sigils on the left and the right side of the room that kind of emulate it in a small way. You're not quite sure what these symbols mean. If you want to make an Arcana check, you are more than welcome. But the room is about 20 feet by 10. It's just simple room, but the dais sits completely in the center of it.
Okay. I'm gonna look to the creature.
Mm-hmm.
The Qualto. Quinn, fish person. I'm gonna look to them. Do they look like they know where they're going?
The Kuatoa looks at you and kind of just like blinks its eyes and just like looks left and right.
Very important question. Does it blink upwards or sideways?
It blinks upwards.
Okay. Disappointing, but okay. It has no idea, does it?
Not one clue.
Okay. I think when Barry is this deep into this plot, this is the moment when he realizes that he has no clue who this fish person is, whether it's a wanted murderer, whether it's a thief, or why it's been imprisoned, and they're starting to get cold feet. You know, that seed of doubt is starting to come in. Also, we're supposed to be fitting in. I'm going to try and sneak my way out of this place. Stopping off at the stables first.
All right. Are you going? So you saw through your perception check, the glyphs on the wall were over like 2 tunneled hallways. You saw Archdude Kovaris go through the one on the right-hand side and kind of disappear down a hallway. There is also a room a hallway down to the left. Which one would you like to go towards?
The hallway to the left, of course. That would, yeah, they wouldn't go and check the stables. Or would they check the stables? Hang on, I'm gonna flip a coin. I have a coin. There it is. Yeah, I'm heading. I'm gonna follow them. They're probably going to check the stables. Yeah, that must be what they're doing. They'll think, breakout, we better check the stables. The Archmage, personally. That's the best idea they've ever had. Yep.
Perfect. So you go down, so wait, you're following the hall that Archdruid Kovaris went down?
Yep. I'm
still... So you go down the right hall.
All the time, Elmer thudding after him.
Perfect. So you follow down the hall that Archdruid Kovaris went down, and the little Kuatoa man kind of follows behind you, keeping as quiet as he possibly can. And you come across a T-section in the hallway about 20 feet down. There is a left and a right way. If you want to roll me a perception, I will let you know what's down each side of the hallway.
Okay, and as the first part of the perception check, Barry is looking for them signs, like hospital signs. Because even though they're confusing, they at least give you something.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, absolutely perfect. So yeah, like as you come to this T intersection of this hallway, you see that there's a glyph in the middle of the hallway straight ahead of you, and there's one to the left and to the right. The one that is on the left, you see, is slightly glowing, and the one on the middle and the right are not.
Oh, towards the glow, double down. Yeah, let's do this. The stables, yep.
Cool. And as you follow the left hallway down, you do come across like a couple doors that are shut at the moment, but for another 10 feet down, you come to a fork in the hallway. One of them is very clear on the left that goes towards a big open chamber room. You assume that and you slightly remember this is the room that you went into before you were invited into the council hall. And then on the right-hand side, there is another hallway that leads about 5 feet more deeper into it, but there is another room that is dimly lit.
Can I keen my kitty nose to the smell of manure?
Yeah, if you roll me investigation.
Okay, I'm going to use an advantage on this. 17.
Perfect, yeah. So you do smell that it is more in the direction of that first hall on the left. So where it opens up into the room that you had previously been in, where they had you wait before you went to the council room. You do smell it in that direction.
Okay, here we go. Yeah. From there, I should know where I'm going. Yeah. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to pick up speed. Still on my footing, but picking up speed.
Cool.
To the stables. So
you follow that room, and actually, since you got a pretty decent high investigation, you follow your nose where you smell this manure, and it brings you into, instead of going into the main archway that led you into the council hall room, there's another small hallway on the right. You go down that hallway, there's a set of stairs that go down about 20 feet, and you open that door, and it is a dimly lit, but underground, slightly protruding, like it's almost like if it was a open garage where it's like a room, and then off in the distance there's like a big open tunnel that goes outwards. But between where you are on that open door and about 40 feet down where you see this big open archway that leads outside, there are stables. There are about 6 or 7 stables on each side, and about 4 of them have horses that you can see in this instant clip.
I want to put the fish person on the horse.
Okay. You put the fish person on the closest horse you see. Roll me
I'm start
animal handling.
Do you want to use a disadvantage on this?
I'm just gonna have you roll.
Okay.
I'm gonna have you just roll animal handling.
Okay. Apparently, me and the horse, we've bonded.
Yeah. So like between like how quiet and just like you have it in you to see this to the end, and that confidence is exuding from you in a moment when you need it. And that horse reads that confidence and respects that animalistic confidence. And you put this Kuatoa man on the back of this horse, and this horse accepts this Kuatoa man in this moment. Yep. And the Kuatoa man looks extremely uncomfortable and extremely awkward on top of this horse, but somewhat knows what to do, so it just immediately grabs the reins and just holds it.
It's grabbing the reins. It knows how to ride a horse better than I do. Is the stable door open?
Well, there is no door. It's just like an open tunnel, but each of the stables that house a horse does have its own door.
I'm gonna slap that horse's rear so hard. Bye fish person problem.
All right, yeah. So you slap the rear end of this horse, and this horse kind of kicks its front legs up for a small moment, brings him back down, and does the and just starts trotting off, like just takes off with this fish person. And you see the fish person kind of like bobbling on the back of it, like holding the reins of it. And you see this horse dip out into the night through the tunnel 40 feet down the hallway, and it is gone. And you do hear as it exits, you hear a couple guards be like, whoa, ah! And you see like a couple stammer across and then head in the direction where the horse went.
Okay, I'm going to count to the count of 20. Then I'm going to cast Expeditious Retreat on myself. Mm-hmm. And I am going to move at approximately, with my feline agility, 180 feet per 6 seconds towards the inn. I'm going to climb the outside wall, remembering that I have a climb speed, which would have been great to remember earlier when I was trying to climb out of the freaking thing. And I'm
Drunken Barry would have totally forgot he could climb.
Yep,
so
I was totally there as well.
Keep it canon.
Yep, totally there. I'm going to climb in through the window, and I'm going to make it look like I've been asleep all night.
Yeah. The only thing I'll have you roll is roll me acrobatics with advantage. Because you have expeditious retreat. So this is how well you get over the wall and run back without having any sort of hang-ups.
I would like to use it. Oh, I've already got advantage, right?
Yep, I gave you advantage.
Whoop, bang! 22's all right.
Perfect. Yeah, so with this beautiful 22, you kind of parkour your way from this stable, out the door, over top of the fence that you had kind of slipped past before, and you basically feline run your cat's tail back to the inn.
I'm definitely floofed.
Oh yeah, you're fully floofed. Yeah. You run through the window and land so softly, so cat-like, and you just snuggle up into bed like nothing ever happened.
If anyone was to check on me in the next 5 minutes, you would probably see Barry lying on his side going
I was just gonna ask. So yeah, the rest of you have been asleep, and Finny has been in their trance, their meditative trance. So would Finny have heard any of this coming in?
Possibly.
What is your passive perception?
18.
It wouldn't have startled you out of your trance entirely, but you would have sensed a small disturbance of the floor when he waltzed back in, someone was walking across.
I think an eye would probably drift open at that point. Interesting evening. Yeah, I thought so. And then goes back to the trance.
I was muted. Thank you, Alex.
Oh.
Yeah, nope. Nope. Nope.
That's about what I thought. Next time, maybe, I don't know, leave a note.
Didn't go anywhere, just fell asleep in the bar.
Yeah, like that. And then video will just go back to the trance.
Does Barry fall asleep quickly, or does it take a while for Barry to fall asleep afterwards?
Barry's just done a run for the first time in like 10 years. He's passed the fuck out. He is tired. And he feels a little bit sick.
Yeah, absolutely. So at this point, Barry beds down, and you all finish up a full night's rest. And as you all awake in the morning, who would be the first one to wake up? Yeah.
4 hours.
Yeah, so Finny, after you kind of come out of your trance and you get ready for the morning, you shake yourself awake, do your morning routine, and as you're doing your morning routine, you look around and Cassandra's not in her bed.
Oh God, is there another bottle?
No, there is not a bottle, but there is a note that is on the pillow of her bed.
I'll pick it up.
The note just says, have some business, be back tomorrow, don't worry. And then it says, Cass.
Okay. Well, I guess she left me with the kids. Finny will go to, I think there's like sort of a sofa arrangement and read until the others awake with massive hangovers and look upon them with no sympathy, none whatsoever.
Absolutely. So I would assume Eva would probably stir awake.
Yeah, just like everything that Eva does, Eva's going to stir awake just as quickly as she fell asleep, doing Cassandra's hair into, major, like, Khaleesi formats. And I think, fingers would have probably still been entangled in Cassandra's hair when Barry was trying to reach her in the middle of the night. But she will once again, for her morning, she will just like, oh, we're the lightning French king. Oh, what? Food. And just immediately just beeline, not even really check if Cassandra is awake yet. Yeah, beeline downstairs and just immediately be like, oh, hi, about her morning.
Yeah.
Every day is a bolt of energy.
Absolutely. Yeah. So as you wake up, like, you remember your fingers being entangled in Cassandra's hair at one point, and as you wake up, like, basically left a folded note onto your face. So you wake up and this note is immediately on your face. You pick it up and it says, hey, thanks for the braids. I'll keep them. See you tomorrow. Cass.
Braids. Cassandra's getting crazier since she got out of the bottle. All right.
And then you make your way downstairs. The nice little barkeep. She is working. Her sister is working this morning. One of the other women that you had saw working the bar the night before. She introduces herself as Emily and says that she'll get whatever you needs, and goes back to the kitchen to prepare your breakfast. How long does it take? I was gonna say, during this time, how long does it take for Barry to wake back up?
I mean, he must have been gone for at least a couple of hours after everyone else, so to get like a full
so you
rest,
came back. Yeah, you came back at like, I'd say like 1 or 2 a.m.
We're looking at a 10 a.m. start.
Cool. So yeah, so for a while, Barry is like passed out while this happens. So Eva, what are you doing as you wait for your breakfast?
Eva is probably, if there is no one with her, she's going to be that awkward person that's just like,
Mood.
I don't know what to do with myself. I'm just going to keep tapping around. Okay. And, she'll eventually probably pick up Lucy. And her old loot, her new loot, as well as her old loot, Lucy. And she's probably going to start trying to actually see. She's also a little bit fixated at the moment with colors and auras. Ever since she found out that Finny's color is yellow, Eva's going to start like plucking at her, like the two loots to see if she can get that synesthesia and start to see the colors. She's really fascinated to now figure out what Cassandra and Barry's colors are as well. Like, will they show their colors to her?
Absolutely. Roll me an Arcana check.
Cool. But she's even going to see, like, yeah, if just from the loot, if she can pick up almost like those kinds of colors. 22.
Oh yeah. So you do notice as you're looking over this like Lucy, and then you're looking over the magical loot. The magical loot has 7 strings, not 6.
Oh.
And each one of the strings, as you pluck it, gives a different color of the rainbow individually. And as you start making chord progressions and start figuring out like the different sounds between Lucy and this guitar, you start to realize that as you make certain chord progressions, that the colors mix and form these other colors that come out, these shades of teals and maroons and peaches. And as you continue to play them, they kind of drift over. And as you're messing around with them, you actually see the colors start to drift off from the lute and go towards Emily, the Furbolg bar maiden. And you see them start to kind of shape and form around her. And you see that you can tell her aura color, which is a seafoam green.
Ooh, a seafoam green. So, at this point, Eva's just gonna keep playing to see if it changes or whether that is like her aura, and she'll change tune eventually from maybe something that started off more of a chipper tuning up, and like when people start off doing on the piano, like the chopstick song. To something a little bit more sorrowful for a bit, and sees if it changes the aura or whether the aura stays the same.
So as you change the tune, the colors stay the same. However, they become more muted and more muddy. Greens are still greens, or just muddy greens and dirty greens. And her seafoam green aura just turns to like this kind of like muddied seaweed green. This like aquamarine covered in mud almost is what it looks like. And as you start to change the tune of the music, both the tempo and the notes that you are playing, it changes the tones as well of the color. So softer music, as you start to play softer music, it's more pastel palettes. And the faster the music goes, the more bright and vivid the colors are. And as you start to figure out the mechanics of this lute, you do see that they also drift over to objects as well. As you continue to play and build and build, these colors start to flow and fill the room. And now that you see them, they're floating over the little candle spigots that held the blue and black candles the night before. And you see that those objects are giving off their own aura that is like this like bluish tinge.
And Eva's going to find all of this like really just over, like at this point it's almost like she is on her own personal trip, just looking around and like exploring the colors. And then when she sees this seafoam green, she's there going to be like just mouthing under her breath to herself just things of like,
Jealousy? No. Too light. Tranquility. Calm. Clarity. Luck. Fresh. Renewal.
She just starts like listing off words that she associates with the color of seafoam.
Youth. Innocence. Maybe that's where the jealousy comes from. Naivety. Confusion.
And yeah, she's basically lost in her own world of that now until her
and Emily just kind of like, she's very soft-spoken compared to her sister, the bartender you had met the other night. And she just like kind of like lets you talk. She finds your voice very soothing. So she's just like cleaning up the bar and hanging out and everything. And just like smiles as you continue to kind of like speak softly under your breath.
I need to take a quick moment to talk about the drama that just happened in the votes for the Wild Magic
insane.
Surges. So
Set.
Yeah, what an upset. With 5 votes was the Butterflies Follow Eva. In the last seconds, it looked like Barry's Skin Turns Blue was going to take it with a total of 12 votes right up until the end. Then in comes either Kent Weebs or Jamie the Jedi, I'm not sure. One spent 1,400 bits, the other spent 10,000 channel points.
Blueberry.
The result is that Finn gets double the spell slots for this episode.
Fun.
Blueberry.
Blueberry would have
everybody.
been really good.
Blueberry. No, there's no such
Blueberry.
thing.
All right.
It is a pipe dream. Maybe next time.
Kent's still just reveling in the fact that I gave him the VIP badge at last.
So we will
Literally
digress.
begged for it. He literally begged for it.
So we're gonna zoom out real quick and kind of zoom back into Finny, who is continuing to read on the little sofa inlet part of the nice little room that you have.
Mhm.
And Finny, as you're reading, you feel this like surge of just pure emotion and power. You feel brighter today. You feel stronger today than usual.
Oh.
And as you kind of do your self intake, and do your spell intake for the day, you realize you have a wider capacity for what you're able to handle for the day.
Well, that's interesting.
Finny, what book were you reading?
I think I was actually reading the Deities of a Lesser Kind.
Yeah. So as you're reading, you start to read about Bane and how awful this deity is, and the adversity he's put on the people of the material realm, and in your divine radiance, in the goodness that is all of your magic. Yeah, you feel like this spark in you that's just like, today is a different day.
Oh, well, thank you, I suppose. I guess maybe seeing and talking to you yesterday might have sparked something. I appreciate that.
A light breeze comes through the window of the room, and you get your beautiful scent of lilac and cardamom.
I'm going to leave Barry snoring on the bed, and I'm going to head down for some breakfast with Miss Amblemore.
And Eva's, as you come down and open the door, because you have to come down, walk through the alleyway, and come back through the front door, you see Eva is playing with the magical lute and has Lucy right next to her. And you see these swirling colors, and some of them are dancing around the candelabras in the room. Some of them are dancing around the Furble Bard Maiden, Emily. You just see her having a good little time, and Emily comes back and hands her a nice hot plate of food. You have some like potato hash, you have a little bit of meat and sausage thrown in there. Looks like a very tasty breakfast.
I think I'll be like, can I have one of those, but vegetarian?
I got you.
Thank you. And I'll sort of sit down as just sort of like quietly. It's not really to disturb the music that's going. And just sort of take it in.
Eva's probably very blind to the fact that Finny has come down until Finny probably gets too closer. When Salute starts to go back around to Finny's color, and it's like, there's the yellow.
Good morning, Miss Amblemore.
And at that point, Eva's going to kind of snap out of it, because it's almost like the yellow went around. She's like, Finny. And then as soon as Finny actually says good morning, it's like, oh! So it's just like puts it back down right on the counter. Boom. Hey! Did you sleep okay? Well, you didn't have too much to drink, did you? I think Cassandra might be still asleep. Or wait, no, hang on. Cassandra put a message on my face. Cassandra is somewhere.
Yes, I received a similar note this morning after I woke up. I've been up for quite a while. You just sort of left. But I was reading. It's fine. Yes, Mr. Knight is upstairs sleeping off the excitement of the evening. Came in quite late. Bit of a bender, maybe.
I bet he had some sort of adventure. He seems like a person that doesn't continue the night if the adventure isn't happening.
I think he's definitely the kind of person that finds the adventure, whether willingly or not.
Or creates the adventure.
Hmm.
Maybe everything that Barry does has to be an adventure.
Oh, that would make much sense.
Well, at least has to be a performance.
Always.
Needs an audience.
Mm-hmm.
We should go wake him up, otherwise he'll miss breakfast. He'll miss breakfast.
Absolutely. Do you have any specific ideas on how we would wake him up?
And you will use knock. in
Do.
Yeah, in Barry's room.
You're muted.
And Barry sleep. We can't even hear him.
Yeah.
A couple of minutes later, you get like the ringing of the message cantrip. 5 more minutes.
He's gonna need 5 more minutes.
You know that means at least 30.
Well then, I guess that just means that all of the food that we've ordered, we'll eat just ourselves.
That's fine.
It's a serious predicament, but someone will have to do it.
I know, but how will we ever manage?
I know, we did make sure to get all of the sort of vegan options of things. I made sure to get the earth burger and the corn sausages, and I tried to check out the tofurkey bacon, tofurkey
Yes.
bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they had these portobello mushrooms with this fake cheese with these pine nuts, which just tasted fine.
Oh, I'm quite looking forward to when my order gets in.
And these tomatoes with vinaigrettes. Have you heard of a vinaigrette before? I found out that we seem to have a lot of vinaigrettes here. They take all of the veggies and the fruits and they ferment and wine them and
And vinegar is just what happens when your wine goes bad.
So you're saying the dregs of my cask, I could just pour them over my food and it would taste good?
Well, I mean, yes, you could do like a red wine vinaigrette, where it's like just red wine that's sort of gone off a little bit.
Yeah, as
When it
soon
starts
as
to taste a
the
little bit
food.
sour.
Yeah, as soon as the food arrives, Eva's going to pour like the little tiny drops from her like
Oh God, what have I done?
flask onto her skin flask right on top of her foods.
Yeah, so in the meantime, as you're discussing all this and talking about vinaigrettes, the food does come out, and Finny has a beautiful array of like vegetarian. Did you say vegan or vegetarian?
Vegetarian.
Vegetarian
Veggie.
options. Yeah. So you have like all of these like beautiful fresh cut vegetables and fruits on like a nice like little charcuterie morning platter. You do have like a little bit of like the hash eggs and some like sauteed peppers and onions in there as well. And you get like these little like Eva was talking about the portobello mushroom sliders with like the cheese on top and a little bit of like the vinaigrette to dip them in. It's a very beautiful breakfast. It's honestly the most refreshing and beautiful breakfast you've had on this adventure so far.
And Finny will just eat contentedly until Barry eventually trundles downstairs.
Barry does not come down in half an hour.
Oh, I was wrong with my time. Do you want
Barry
to take that
goes straight back to sleep. They only woke up long enough to use the message cantrip, and you're honestly lucky that they didn't get undressed. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had the copper to do it. But their door's wide open.
I'll
Thanks to
eventually.
the knock cantrip, I guess.
That's a thing. It's probably best to. I'll just go up. I'll walk upstairs very softly, very gently, very quietly. I'll open the door so that it doesn't make a sound. I'll stand over Barry's bed, and then, "Good morning, Barry."
Ah! Ah! Mhm.
You're missing breakfast.
Yep.
How was your night?
Great question. I'm going to do a quick roll here for drunken memory.
Nice. Do it.
What do you think, Ray? Help me out. Intelligence save or wisdom save?
Roll luck check.
Let's do intelligence. Short-term memory. With a 14, you remember most of the evening. You forget very specific details, like you don't remember what the glyphs look like on the wall. You don't remember like the dimensions of things, like very specific details, but you remember like the big events of what happened, the procession of how everything went down.
Oh, God.
Eventful?
We might need to have a team talk.
Well, Cassandra is missing in action, but Miss Eleanor's downstairs. If you would like to come have some breakfast.
I really fancy tuna.
Well, there was that fishmonger we saw on the street. We might be able to wrangle you up something.
I've got
Maybe
a
a
real
mackerel?
hankering for fish. It's like someone planted a seed before I went to sleep, you know, and now all I crave is fish.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to get it if you don't get out of bed first. I'm not going to get it for you.
No.
So if you like, you can get up. Clean yourself up, and we'll go for a nice little morning stroll, and we'll find that fishmonger that you seem to like last time.
I'm
Get you some
going.
fish.
I can't go. I can't go back to the fishmonger.
Why not?
I stole a fish from them.
Did she know that you stole the fish from her?
She might have done by now.
I mean, you also have brand new clothing. Could be she doesn't recognize you.
I'll see what the bar's got. I'm gonna get out of bed, and I'm gonna do like the licks of shame. I'm just gonna like lick my like fur down my arms and stuff, and like across my chest. But you know when it's like the like lick lick, where have you been? Lick lick,
Yeah.
It's like that grooming that a cat does after it falls off something.
Yeah, where it's like half asleep and it like stretches awake and then he just like tries to like
Or just like the half of the
Yeah.
The tongue gets stuck?
Yes. That's very much like this scene that you're seeing as Barry tries to right himself. And as you head down to the bar and speak with Emily, she does tell you that she has tuna. She does have tuna. They have it fresh. They got it this morning.
It's going to be a great morning, Barry. Hopefully better than your last night.
Do you want anything with the tuna? I can put fruits, veggies, potatoes.
Try to smoked mackerel.
It's good too. I got portobello mushrooms. I have a couple left.
Just
What you feeling?
tuna raw.
Okay. And she goes back into the kitchen for a few minutes and it doesn't take her long at all. It takes her maybe less than 5 minutes and comes back out and she has these like beautiful little like sashimis like with the raw tuna put on top. So she has like some of this like it's not sticky rice, it looks more like couscous and has like the raw tuna right on top of it and like puts it down. There's like 8 pieces for you.
Do you have more of this?
I mean, I can. We can just go to the fish lady.
I don't mean tuna. I mean, do you have other things like the little fishies that are kind of salty, and the bigger fishies which are kind of like fruity, and the wide fish which are kind of like puffy and flaky, and
right now I have the tuna I have the zebrafish and I have some salmon. That's all
Yes!
we have from the market this morning.
All of those. That'd be great. Just don't go to the market. Yes, all of those.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and she goes back and prepares more with the other two types of fish. The zebrafish one is warm. It's like slightly cooked. It's seared. The other one is completely raw, but she brings it back to you and presents it in the same way. 8 pieces of each.
Okay. And when she's gone, I will thank her, of course, and promise to tip generously.
Mm-hmm.
I turn to my
Yeah,
partner.
she mentions to Eva in the morning that breakfast is covered for you all.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah, we sold their place out last night. They love us.
Mm-hmm.
Eva Finney. I
Yes,
drank a little bit last night.
a little bit.
And I decided to do a little bit of reconnaissance. Because I thought, what if the people that run this town are evil? Which is why everyone doesn't like strangers, because what if they're like, strangers are evil? And then it all seemed to make sense at the time. So I snuck into the palace, or whatever it was. One thing led to another, and I found a fish person. A Quoto.
A Kuatoa?
Yes, same thing. Different regional tongues, I think.
Yes. You're telling me that you found a fish person in the basement of the
Yeah,
city hall?
well, when I say basement,
Go
maybe
on.
swap that word out for dungeon. And they saw me, and I panicked, and I pretended to be a guard. And then, look, the short story is, I put them on a horse, and I sent that horse away. So now the problem's far away.
Were you able to talk to the person to sort of
No,
figure
they
out why
kept
they were there? Or
babbling to me in bubble language. It was very blah 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 blah.
Well, that's so you're telling me that there was a person that was held prisoner in the basement of the city hall, and you sent them away on a horse rather than bring them back to us so that we could talk to them and find out exactly what was going on.
Don't worry. I was very invisible. I mean, that doesn't cover tracks, but I was very invisible. No one saw me there.
So you're saying invisible, but there might be little kitty prints all over that basement. Seeing as you are the did we see other tabaxi in this town?
While you were in the market and kind of doing like that perception and seeing all the exotic bestials that were around, yes, you did see like 1 or 2. It's not like they were prominent or predominant in the area, but you did see a couple others.
And that wouldn't matter anyway. They've already contracted us to do a job, right? Did they contract us to do a job? I don't really remember the details of the actual meeting we had sober yesterday. But if they
No.
did contract us, then we're fine, because there's no tabaxis.
They did not contract us with it to do much of anything except for maybe investigate. We are not being paid by them.
Oh! Well, then I probably wouldn't worry about it.
Well, Miss Umbermore, what do you seem to think about this?
Huh?
Never mind. Apparently, I'm the only adult in this room. She left me with the kids. She left me
look-
with the kids.
I'll have you know, I am a perfectly capable adult. I just act on my impulses.
Listen. If you relate to me, I promise I'll have an opinion.
This is what I have to deal with. I can understand why you gave me the surge of power today, because Lord knows I need it. Anyhow, well, this is going to be a fine mess. Let's have a look. Well, it's a little too late to hopefully this doesn't get back to us. Hopefully.
I mean,
Hopefully
sure.
your little Kuatoa friend has managed to, I don't know, escape through the city that is heavily guarded and not got caught on their way out, where they will say that they got helped by a bright orange tabaxi, of course.
Wouldn't worry. They were on a...
Oh no.
It was not only a horse. It was the first horse I found, which I'm sure means the fastest. Look how quickly I found it. It must have been the fastest.
Patience and discipline. Remember? All right. Well, I haven't had a drop to drink last night, and somehow I have a migraine the size of as though I did. Yes, hello, miss. Can I please have a pint of your strongest whiskey?
Oh,
Yes, the whole pint, please.
Right away. Okay. And you see her kind of like rummage through a couple bottles underneath the bar and grab.
Just bring me a bottle, I'm fine.
Yeah, she pretty much brings you the whole bottle, which would fit inside a pint. It's one of those like very skinny but tall bottles. It's filled to the brim, got the cork top and everything.
Yeah,
she brings it over, and as she brings it over, yeah, she puts a cup beside you if you need it, but then slides a note to the center of the group and says, this was just left here in the back for you. Haven't read it. There's just a guardswoman who came by.
Yeah, sounds about right. I'll open it, read it.
I wonder what that could be about.
And it says, to the group of misfits, please meet me at the same guard tower around noon today. Bristol.
Well, looks like at least the one person that is friendly to us is perhaps looking out for us. We have to go meet Brisbane at the guard tower. And Vinny just like chugs.
As they're
Corks
chugging,
it.
as he's chugging, Barry looks towards Eva and gives her the look, the like, we made Dad mad look.
After about half the bottle's done, he'll cork it and put it in the bag of holding. I'm going to need the rest of this today to get through this, my lord. All right.
Make me a Constitution saving throw.
I would love to do that. One second.
Yeah, so you're stomaching it pretty well. You feel like this slightest sort of like haze creeping up, but you are handling it very well. That extra surge of power you have today is definitely helping you keep your composure.
Yep. Back in the bag of holding. Gonna use that for the dark times that are to come, I'm sure. And then I'll try and gather the kids, and we'll go to the guard tower to see Brisbane.
Perfect, yeah. And I will use this as a quick break time, because I definitely need to bio. So, yeah, is it a 5-minute break? We take a 5-minute break?
It is going to be a 5-minute break. We're going to grab a bio, take a drink, all of those good things. I know my vessel is empty. but while we are gone, I have a little advert to play for you all. This advert is supporting the Deck of Many's new Kickstarter. It's a cute little animation. I'm sure you're going to love it. We'll be back in 5.
Oh no, Jimmy! Heckna's after us! What are we gonna do? Sword beats face! Ha! Looks like you really lost your edge, huh? Huh? God, I'm funny. So, I guess weapons don't... Weapons don't work! Hey, why aren't you laughing? Oh, I know. Let me hit you with the punchline! Wait! My animated spell cards! They can save us! Well, jeepers, Jane. Blast him! Avada Kedavra! Right in the funny bone. Bleh. I really don't like that guy. We did it! Yeah!
Defeat your greatest foes with the most powerful spells. Animated spells are back, with level 6 to 9. Each spell card features 8 frames of looping animation that makes the spell come to life, and contains all the spell details on the back. And for the first time, you can divine with a fully animated tarot card deck. Will you read Fortune or Folly?
Jane! Heckna's reforming! Not on my watch! Meteor swarm!
Go to animatedspells.com and back the Kickstarter today.
Oh, hi you all. Just gonna flash up the poster art for our upcoming charity stream. This will be on the 19th of June. We're going to be trying to raise $4,000 for gamesforlove.org. They're a fantastic, wonderful, fantastic organization that I recently became aware of. Thank you to the wonderful B. Dave Walters. And you can see Witherbrick in that lineup. She's going to be DMing one of the games. So if you like what you see here, then I recommend that you book that time off on the her game will be on the 20th of June at 9 a.m. EDT. That is a Saturday, so it will kind of be like Saturday morning cartoons in hell at a post office, from what I understand. And you can see there's an amazing lineup there of people that I would love for you to be able to check out. We'll be right back from our break just shortly. We just had a short request for another moment, so we'll be right back. Hi everyone, I hope you had a fantastic break. We certainly did. Yes, we were just quickly discussing that charity stream behind the scenes. It's going to be so much hype. I briefly mentioned to the chat, Ray, I hope I wasn't giving anything away, that it sounded like Saturday morning cartoons, postal station in hell.
Yeah, if you want to see something real fun and funny, come hang out Saturday morning cartoons with me, your friendly neighborhood DM, who is going to be putting everybody in hell. So come hang out. It'll be great.
Hey, it's going to be a first for me as well, in that I'm not going to be DMing, I'm not going to be in every single stream on that 24-hour. Usually I do the whole 24. When Alice, we had enough people in the lineup that when Alice is running Call of Cthulhu, I'm going to take a step back and probably spend 3 hours pounding coffee and trying not to fall asleep. Anyway, sorry, let's get back into it. Ray, I hand the narrative back over to your wonderful self.
Alrighty, so we settle back into everybody on a walk to the guards tower that you were all first taken to by Brispa, the elephant folk woman guard, who had kind of welcomed you into the city very abruptly and kind of gave you the lowdown of what was going on when you mentioned Hugar the Humble and the Rot. So you, upon arriving to the door, she is already, the door is cracked and she's like waiting for you to arrive. It is almost noon. You can tell Finny from the position of the sun. And as you kind of like push open the door, she welcomes you all inside and says, please sit. We honestly have a lot to discuss. A lot has happened in the last day or so. I'm not quite sure if you know anything, but here to kind of give you another lowdown. Sorry that this is the way that this keeps happening, but I want to keep you informed if you're still interested in pursuing it.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, we went on another excursion to the infected site and once again continued to do the moonbeam and stayed off a part of it and moved on to another. However, we came in contact with something that was once again otherworldly, and I think it might be something that you came in contact with. You said you met a humanoid who was infected, yes?
Yes. She was a half-orc at one point in time, I believe.
What did she look like?
She looked like she was made of willow and bramble.
Did she have any, like, fungus or long pointy ears?
Not to our recollection.
Okay, well then we might have another problem or something else or a different version of what that was. We came into contact with another humanoid, but this one looked elven, but it was growing fungus all over its body. It seemed very solid though. You said that it was like bramble and vine. Could you see through?
Yes.
We couldn't see through this creature, this human.
Perhaps there's different permutations of this rot, this infection. The displaced beast that we had, Inkblot, was probably even a different kind. We really should check in with that research assistant that we hired, shouldn't we?
If you need help getting a message across, I can potentially try if you're
Actually,
not able.
I think she gave us a sending stone, but none of us have used it yet. I've been collecting quite a few of these. I pull out the one from Hugar. Pull out the one from the research
You have
assistant.
3.
I pull out the one from Axel. We really should call these people.
And she just kind of like looks at you all. They're all a different color. So like you can tell that they're based on who gave them to you, you can tell who you'd be calling. But yeah, she just kind of like looks at you and looks around.
I mean, Barry, Eva, this is definitely something we kind of fell by the wayside on, honestly. We kind of dropped the ball here. Oh, wait.
I've never dropped a ball in my life.
Oh, both of
That
you.
explains so much.
I might have battered it around a bit, but I struggled to pick them up, honestly.
kind of hard, I guess, with those.
It's more habit than anything else. This play thing comes in. Suddenly, I don't want to use my opposable thumbs. Strange. Anyway, what do we drop the ball on anyway?
Well, we have 3 sending stones, one from the research assistant that we should probably call to check up on Inkblot.
Inkblot.
Yep. I was surprised that you would have forgotten about Inkblot and the fact that we have a research assistant that's looking after it.
I have the memory of a fish.
That's fair. That's why I'm apparently the only adult in the room at any given time. All right. Well, I'll pick up the one for the research assistant. Hello. This is Finny. Just checking
Eva.
in. Eva's here too. Want to know the status on the Displacer Beast, please. That's 25.
All right, I am looking for the name.
I was too. I can't find it.
I know I have it here somewhere, and once I find it, I will tell you what their name is, because I totally forgot what the research assistant's name was. I'll find it later. But the student, I remember it was a woman. The student answers and goes, "Oh wow, I'm
Hermione?
sorry.
No.
Marnie? Was it
Marnie. It was Marnie.
Was it Marnie? Okay.
Yeah, I've got it written down right here.
Perfect. So Marty picks up the sending stone and replies and says, well, I learned so much and it's quite fascinating. What do you need to know first? I mean, Inkblot is still here. However, the stage is rather rapidly increasing. They have now lost most corporeal form and have become almost entirely vegetation. It's fascinating, but I'm not sure the source. And she says that over like a various like
over like several messages.
Yeah, over like several messages, you get like the almost like a thread.
We'll send back. What is the beast's appearance at this time? How is it faring in terms of temperament? Can you give us a description? Then we'll just cut it there.
Yeah. She replies and says, we consider in advanced stage, almost like Tuva was. It is completely bramble and vine. The ichor has become a little bit more solidified into a gelatin, not quite as sticky, but more like fudgy, like an oil slickness to it, but it's thick. It's interesting. The temperament of the beast is wild. We actually had to build a special enclosure so that it wouldn't get out. It escaped a couple times and mauled a few of the patrons of the tavern, which I covered up with the help of Axel. But yes, it seems to be losing its temper easier and easier and more often. I'm not quite sure how long this beast has or what its end goal even is. It won't eat anything we put in the cage, won't drink anything that we put in the cage. It's just aggressive. It wants out. And the area around it now is almost looking the same. And that's where it ends.
Oh, that's not good. I'll relay all that. It's spreading from the beast to the area around it. This is not good.
You mean like it's affecting like the ground, the life around it?
Yes. At least that's what I can gather. I'll send a message back. Do you mean to say that it is affecting the ground around it? And that the earth around it is changing?
Yes, I do. It seems to have spread.
Any word from Axel on Tuva?
Unfortunately, about 2 days after you had left, Tuva passed. And they're trying to study her remains, however, they're deteriorating rapidly. Not much is left of her, unfortunately.
Bad news all around. Tuva's gone. And it looks like the beasts are changing the world around them.
That's not right.
No.
Something's aura shouldn't spread onto something else's aura. It should be its own individual.
I think we need to go to the Feywild.
Agreed.
I had, while you were busy drinking, I communed with my god and got a vision. We need to see the unwinding clock. Perhaps they can find some way of fixing this or helping us fix this. Gods, I wish Cassandra were here. Where is she?
I didn't see her.
No.
Let's get prepared. You need prepared to leave for the Fae, and
She said she'd be back, so we'll give her the day to get what business she needs done. Any other word, Brisba? Any strange happenings in town? Anything you can tell us?
Not in town. We've increased guards at all the postings around the outskirts of the city, and nothing has been trying to get in. However, the patches that we keep discovering are growing
And spreading.
And now, every once in a while, we find some small critter that has been infected. And unfortunately, we've been disposing of those infected to hopefully not spread it to the city. But we're not quite sure.
Well, before we go, can you take me to some of these patches? You say that the divine radiance helps get rid of them, and I'm feeling a bit of a boast of power today.
Absolutely. By all means, I can take you as ready as you are.
Absolutely.
Would anybody else like to join? There's a couple of us that were supposed to go out today anyways to tend to them. We can take you on the run.
come in.
All right. Do you need any provisions, or do you need anything before we go, or are you ready now?
I think we just had breakfast. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I'm as ready as I'm going to be. Mr. Knight? Miss Somerville?
I mean, I'm sure I'm ready, but yeah, no, I'm ready.
Were you? Where were you?
Barry,
Yes.
is there anything you'd like to share with the class?
Well, then I've
Rispa,
already shared
look-
a breakfast.
Rispa looks at you all and says, I'll give you a moment.
All right.
And then she closes the door, but you can tell that she's just going to wait outside the door for you all.
What should I be sharing?
Do we want to talk to Brisba about what Archdruid Kovaris is keeping in the basement of City Hall?
What if she knows?
That's a gamble. But I don't know if is it worthwhile? She could be just as shocked as the rest of us.
I didn't spot any signs of the infection or anything like that on the fish person.
Did you look?
No.
Oh, yeah, of course. That would make sense. Well, I suppose. Yeah, this was interesting. Did any guards come down? Or was it just the Archdruid?
The Archmage did come down. And some guards chased the person on the horse.
Eva is just like looking perplexed at how she missed out on this complete adventure.
You were having breakfast. Or you were sleeping, I think. We were all sleeping.
Either way, she's just like, whoa. There was a whole thing.
There's a whole
Sorry,
thing.
I don't know what came over me. I just suddenly I felt like an adventurer rather than just a regular entertainer, and I wanted to check that we weren't working for evil people, because I thought that would be the twist that I would do if I was a storyteller. I'd go, you've worked for them all this time, and then they're evil. And I thought I would, and then I thought I'd check, and then I got caught up in rescuing a person. I forgot to check with a. They too.
You thought you'd check, and then you found out that they were evil and holding people captive in the basement.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they might not be. I mean, I don't really know anything about that person. I was just drunk and freed them. It could have been like a zoo animal for all I knew. I mean, it could have been a llama. How do I even know it was a fish person? I was drunk. It could have been like a panda bear
An actual
or something.
fish.
Could have been a trout that you rescued from the fishmonger again.
I don't think so. Fish doesn't usually repeat on me.
Well, Brisba was a little suspicious of the council to begin with. They were hiding up. Covering up. Alright. Brisba!
And pushes the door open and walks in. Ready to go?
Yes, but one thing before we do.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Archdruid Kovaris?
Who?
It's the centaur, that's the one you saw.
Well, he's an interesting man. Interesting principles. Definitely goes by the beat of his own drum, though I don't suspect it's too far off that those around wouldn't follow. I mean, the city seems to enjoy his councilship and his ruling. I mean, are you looking for my opinion personally or the city's?
Yours personally.
There's something not quite right. I don't ever guard the city hall or the council hall, but I mean, I hear from those who do that things are weird at times.
Unrelated side note. Absolutely unrelated side note. Where do you keep prisoners? Like, if you have criminals, do you jail them here in Uluwalawa?
Uluru. And
the one, yes.
We do have a public jailhouse, yes. Why?
I'm just wondering where that is.
It's kitty-cornered to the council hall, honestly. It's a couple blocks over, more towards the east of the city.
So there's not a strange, mysterious dungeon beneath the city hall?
Not that I am aware of.
Okay. What if I told you that there was a strange, mysterious dungeon beneath the city hall? That maybe a cat burglar, friend of a friend, might have snuck into and perhaps found a fish person imprisoned down there, so they say.
Roll me persuasion.
Berry.
Yeah.
She like kind of does like a cockeyed glance and like, you're telling me that there is a dungeon basement underneath the council hall that they keep other prisoners in?
Just the one prisoner that I found, and Archmage what's-his-name came down by himself to investigate. No guards.
Well, interesting. Did you happen to get any inkling of why or what this was about?
Oh, funny thing, my friend didn't say. Friend of a friend.
Okay. Also
Twice
interesting. I won't ask you more questions about your friend. However, I would say that if something is underneath the council hall, maybe it's a special interrogation chamber, maybe it's somebody of higher caliber or importance that needed to be kept separate from the general populace. Maybe it could be a whole bunch of things. I mean, I've heard rumors of stuff like that, but nobody's ever confirmed it. But if you saw something, if you were there, I mean, I have no choice but to believe you. I don't know why it exists or what for, though. Not a clue.
This information comes from the most trusted source I know. This friend of a friend. Of a friend.
Once again, I will not ask too many questions. However, I will give you the benefit of the doubt. What do you intend to do with this information? If the prisoner is now gone?
I don't know what happened to the
guessing?
prisoner. Don't know what happened. Wish I'd been there. They just said they saw it and they left. But maybe it's worth investigating what genuinely goes on down there. If I was an upstanding guard of a city, I'd be slightly worried if I found out that people were maybe applying, devious tactics beneath the city hall.
Well, haven't you met with the whole council yourselves? Why wouldn't you just go inquire? I'm not quite sure I understand.
I think what Mr. Knight is trying to say is going in front of the council with unfounded accusations, especially against the Archdruid, might end poorly for someone fresh in town of our station.
Fair. I'll see what I can find out, but I can't promise anything. I can try and figure out as much as I can. And while you are inspecting with the party today, I will do some of my own reconnaissance. We can meet back up in the evening and share what we found.
That would probably be best, I think. All right.
Okay. Well, I'll get you in contact with Lula. She was the other guard when you had come into the city. I'll have her meet you here in just a few moments, and she can take you with the party and lead you out of town to the sites.
Thank you for your help.
Yeah, thank you for yours.
Thank you.
And she ducks out of the room and shuts the door behind you, and you are left alone for a few moments.
Now we see if the gamble pays off.
See, it all works out in the end.
Not really.
Always works out in the end.
Well, we'll know if she's working for the counselor if about 5 guards show up.
And a few moments later, Lula knocks on the door very softly and opens it and enters, and she goes, huh, are you ready to go? All right.
Yeah.
Okay, just follow me. And she leads you out and back to the front gate where there is a party of 3 other guardswomen. You see 2 Aarakocras. One emulates a very large parrot of blue and orange and green. One is more of an egret, is very tall, stark white with a long bill. And there is a small minotaur woman, a much smaller minotaur than you've seen before. But she's very she's very like small and petite, almost kind of like a deer folk, but she has more of like the broader kind of stocky horns. And they gather you, kind of introduce themselves. The 2 Aarakocras are Mina and Mina, cousins. And the Minotaur woman, her name is Georgia. And they all kind of take you a couple moments to give you the lowdown. They basically tell you, don't touch the infection sites with any part of your being or your belongings. Stay about 5 to 10 feet away at all times. If you are to go up any closer to it, you have to have one of the guardswomen with you, and just kind of give you like the provisional safety precautions that you all must take, and then lead you off into the woods. As this is all happening, is anybody doing anything, or are you all just kind of following along?
I think every now and then Eva's going to be plucking her magical lute to just kind of see how vibrant the wildlife and trees and things like that are around her, or whether they are maybe starting to look muted.
Absolutely, yeah. As you start to play, so right out of the gate and into the beginning of the forest, you see that they have traversed this kind of walk so many times. There's almost like a footpath they've created in the grass, and you're walking along the path, and as you're playing, the wildlife around you is very vibrant. The colors that are coming off are very emulant of like the greens in the trees and the browns of the bark in the wood, and the other wildlife that you see. It's very vibrant, but as you traverse forward, it takes about 20-30 minutes for you to walk into where you start to see the colors are now muting and turning to muddier versions, and that you don't even recognize it at first, but the tune that you're playing is starting to become more somber, and it takes you a moment to kind of like recognize that. And as you recognize that, that's when you kind of notice that the colors have muted and changed.
Hey, it's not as bright around here. Things are dying.
That would be the
Thick.
rot, I suppose. But yes, it's not good.
The further in we're getting, the more muted it seems to be.
If this is her doing, they're doing.
It leads me to an interesting moral dilemma. What if there's not a cure for this?
Like what?
Like, what if there's not one? What if we're looking for some kind of patient zero or cure thing? A elixir or a spell or something, and there just one doesn't exist?
No, go ahead.
You're suggesting what I think you're suggesting. Not all phoenixes rise from ashes.
Yeah, I think I was thinking something similar. Would you burn down large sections of things to save the majority of people?
Though sometimes counterpoint, controlled blazes can prevent forest fires.
Exactly what I'm thinking. I just don't know how far this is spread. How do we even know if we're infected? Did the symptoms show straight away? We were around Inkblot.
I've been told that there's something inside me. Perhaps from that altar.
My
still
horse stops.
I'm
You're
sorry.
still bright. You have time.
Yes. She's told me that she's doing everything in her power to keep me safe. That, I think, is the color you're seeing, or that they're seeing. The aura.
I thought you were one of them book-learned religious people, the ones that don't get sick.
Not quite, unfortunately. It seems that this is a little bit more powerful than most things. But once we arrive in the area, Penny's going to start looking around. No, I wish fortunately, I think I just had a bad day. And that's kind of what's caused all this. It's almost like I can hear her in the back of my thoughts, laughing. Moanda.
Right.
Them.
You don't have a relationship with Moanda as well, do you, by chance?
I don't know. Well, now I do, but I did not before.
I was gonna say, that'd be awkward.
A little bit. I'm kind of a one partner kind of man, but...
Well, no, that's fair enough. I was just checking. Because that would have been awful. That would have been like the whole thing was aimed at you.
I know.
That would be
horrible.
a lot of responsibility. I wouldn't like that at all.
Oh, I definitely know you wouldn't. Even I don't like this. I don't like having the eyes of two deities on me. It's horrible pressure to take. Finny's going
duties? Finny.
Duties? Yes.
Did you say duties?
Well, I guess there's an obligation. Deities, I think is what I said. But maybe both. Duties.
Sometimes you have to answer the call of duty.
Sometimes duty finds you. Whether or not you're looking for it.
Sometimes you're not looking for duty, but you find yourself landed
Straight in duty.
deep in duty.
I think that's what you did last night.
How dare you?
With the extra double spell slots, I guess, that Finny has been given. Finny, the talk of deep duty.
Yes.
Is going to cast twice because it's not concentration. Guardian of Faith.
Yeah, absolutely. And what does Guardian of Faith do one more time?
So it lasts 8 hours.
Cool.
An unoccupied space within my choice. I'll do to 30 feet away. A large spectral guardian appears and hovers for the duration in an unoccupied space of your choice. You can see within range. This guardian occupies that space and is indistinct except for a gleaming sword and shield emblazoned with the symbol of your deity. Mine is just a single golden ring.
Cool.
Any creature hostile to you that moves into the space must succeed on a dex saving throw and take radiant damage. My thought was that they just sort of exude radiant energy and that they can patrol the woods and just sort of do a sweep.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I was thinking of flavoring this spell a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Really cool. So yeah, basically for the next 8 hours, you have 2 spectral radiant floating guardians of the woods. And as they kind of hover over parts of the infected and possessed sites, you do see them shrivel away and kind of shriek and whip back, and almost in like this like unnatural way for vegetation to be moving on its own. And where they kind of graze over, it's almost kind of like a very funny visual, but like the robots that clean your floors, like as it goes past Roombas. As it goes past a section, this it's left looking pristine, and you don't see any of the vegetation that is like the bramble, like the purples, muddied greens and purples, or blacks with the like the ichor over it. You see it kind of like recess into the soil and look pristine again. And yeah, you have 2 beautiful spectral guardians, and as the 2 Aarakocras and the Minotaur kind of watch you do this, their eyes get wide and they come over to you and they start inquiring and asking, how often can you do that?
Well, this is a special day. Normally I can only do it once, but today is your lucky day. I can do it twice.
Oh, well, that will severely help as we kind of continue to go off. You're more than welcome to stay here. The parts that are more thoroughly infected are a little bit further. If you don't mind walking, you can come with us. But
absolutely. I still have some spell slots that I can use on a different kind of radiant energy that might be able to help stem a little bit more of this infection.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's sweep this area first and then move on together if that's the case.
Lead the way.
All right. And as the image of them walking on forward and the spectral guardians kind of like walking with you on the sides, we will fade out to be continued for next week, where we will hopefully see what all of this extra divine radiant energy Finney has, see what else he can do with it, because it'll still be the continuation of the day, so you'll still have the double spell slots until you make a full long rest. But yeah, absolutely, that is where we'll end for this evening. A nice little pretty scene with these spectral guardians.
Oh my goodness, and just as we decide to end, in
Oh, I
comes
know.
Love
Raid.
Lindy, and Amber Gwen comes in with the sub. Welcome in, everyone. Thank you so much for that raid. Lindy, we love Lindy. If you haven't seen Lindy already, go and check out her channel. She runs a lot of D&D and Cthulhu and other things. She makes all her own overlays and everything. And she joins us on the Gilding Light channel on Fridays at 4 p.m. PDT. No, wait. Wrong. That's the wrong show. Pretend I didn't say that. She joins us on Friday at 1 p.m. EDT over on Tales from the Grim for Aether's Walkway, a game by Alice, which is cyberpunk and super fun. Super fun.
We love you, Lindy.
We love you, Lindy.
And Hamsters with Hats, thank you for coming in with those biddies as well.
Hey, thank
we
you.
appreciate you. Hey, y'all. Do you know what? Since you're here, why don't we show you a
Double
thing?
raid.
Thank you for the follow. Check this out. I'm just going to fade to the poster for a second. We've got this coming up. Follow the channel. Buckle in for the 19th of June when we're going to be running a charity stream for Games for Love. 24 hours of D&D. Look at the names we're going to have coming along. It's going to be hype. Get your follow in now. Book that time off in your diary. It's going to be oh so hype. Anyway.
Lit.
Be great. Very exciting.
Hype.
I'm
Yes.
wrapping up. Everyone, Check out these wonderful people around the screen. Friends who roll dice also raiding in.
All the raids at the end.
Oh my goodness!
Welcome on
everybody.
in. Just as
Adrenaline
Everybody.
is pumping. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness. Well, okay. Well, since we have a couple more minutes, we don't have to do more story stuff. Why don't we check in with everybody and do a little character check-in since we have all these raiders here?
Sounds amazing. That
Yeah,
sounds
let's do
amazing.
a little character check-in. Introduce who you play, introduce your character to everybody, and kind of give us a little lowdown of what they're feeling, what they're thinking lately as things kind of heat up in the story. Because we're getting close to the end.
God damn, yeah.
Yeah.
We have 4 more episodes after this. After today, we have 4 episodes left. So let's do a character check-in. Who wants to go first? It looks
Thank
like
you
Vinny.
so
Oh
much.
god, I gotta go first. the worst. I hate you.
It's on noses.
We did this all the time in another campaign where it's like, who will not catch on that we are doing this game today?
Yeah, I love it.
Hi, I'm Anita or Panita, and I play Finny. Finny is a little bit of sad boy cleric, whose deity is his ex-partner who ascended kind of without him. Right now, Finny is feeling a little bit concerned, kind of powerful, really, to be honest, thanks to a well-timed wild magic surge, and is currently feeling a little bit helpful and a little bit of use, which is sort of helping combat all the sad and scared that he is at the moment. And with that, because I got made to go first, I'm going to just throw it over at Madame Gandalf, Alex.
Cool, it's fine. Good call. Hi, my name is Madame Gandalf, and I play Eva, the Tiefling Bard. And Eva is the kind of person who, once she sets her sights on a goal or sets her mind on an idea, it's nearly impossible to shake it. Of course, sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a bad thing. But she also seems to treat this dedication with almost like a childlike enthusiasm that gives her a rather positive or perky personality. And after her brush with lightning, she has also seemingly embraced the chaotic and unknown, having been dedicated to trying to getting foresight and not worry about the future. So yeah, she kind of likes to cause ruckus out of sheer boredom from not reaching her aspirations quickly. So basically, when the more bored she is, the more likely she is to make sure that there's a big fight in the tavern and make sure that everything just falls apart and sets on fire. Yay! Look at the chaos.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hi everyone, I'm playing Barry Knight. Barry is a wizard. Barry is a wizard that scraped through wizarding school by making very good friends with the smart people and buying them lots of drinks. He's honestly not a very good wizard. His intelligence is simply bad. It's his dump stat. In fact, if we're looking at numbers, he has a 9 in intelligence. But he passed. That's the important thing. And he very much relies on his charisma and spells that do not require DCs. Hence, he became a specialist in the illusion field. As an illusion specialist, he decided that he would make his way in life by leaning into the skills he picked up at wizarding school, which was talking to people and having a drink and entertain people. Didn't go down very well because everyone on the mainland was like, so what? You're just doing magic. That person can really cast fireball. Why do I care about you illusioning fireball? So he got on the boat to come to this place because he heard that they had never heard of magic. And you know what? He came to line his pockets with gold, and he kind of did, but also kind of ended up an adventurer. And now he's not really sure how adventuring works, and may make mistakes. He's feeling like he might have let down Finny a little bit, honestly.
Finny's just the disappointed dad of the party, so honestly, really, it doesn't take much to disappoint Finny.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. These are my chaos children.
Yeah. Real quick, I'm Ray. I helm this chaos party, and give them a cool adventure to go on. To catch those up in chat who haven't been with us or are just joining us in this story, these adventurers have traveled to a new continent into which they had heard various rumors about the promise of gold lining the streets, no magic, wanting to become famous, wanting to understand their patron and their deities, or just coming out of sheer boredom and new excitement. They have all stumbled upon what seems to be some sort of infection, possession of both humanoids, bestials, and the land. It comes as like rotting vegetation. It turns the environment to like this black ichor sort of bramble and vines entangled in one another sort of mess. The beast that they had found was a displacer beast on the docks when they had literally first arrived onto the continent, and discovered that now in advanced cases, it is basically a vegetation beast that loses all its corporeal form. It is mostly comprised of the same bramble and vines and black ichor that the environment is infected in, and the same happens with people. And through some various adventuring and some weird side quests, Finny came in contact with the entity that seems to be causing all of these issues, an entity, an old deity by the name of Moander, who is the deity of rot and decay and corruption. So they are on an adventure now to try and figure out how to stave this off, how to, if they can, fight this and win. They are now in a bestial, sacred, ancient city called Ulure. It is a very sacred site to the people of Neofa, the continent that they are on. They have just come in contact with some situation happening at the bottom of the council hall, some weird dungeon that Barry had found in a drunken stupor one night.
Not in the books.
Yeah. We don't know what that's about. And now that they have gotten in contact with a couple of the guardswomen that patrol the town, they have gone out to find one of the infected sites in the environment, and that is where we kind of let off for the evening. But yeah, they are traversing to find the cause and origin of what's going on and how to stop it. And they're getting very close. I will say we have 4 episodes left, so we'll see what they find and how they figure out to stop this crazy mess. Yeah. But it's been a great ride. Yeah. It's a great
party.
Are
finishing a little earlier today. We stopped a little earlier because one of our group members is down and we were kind of moving on. We don't want to move on too far without them. So you can also find D. It's the Riddler over on the other side of the screen over there. D plays... Do they play a fighter?
Blood hunter, a human blood hunter.
Human blood hunter.
Yes, her name is Cassandra. She's great.
She's amazing. She's the mom of the party.
Yes, she is the mom. Yep.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yep.
Barry is the misbehaved cat.
Always.
And Eva is our chaos child.
Middle child.
Yes.
The middle child.
Anyway, everyone, we're going to call it there. Thank you so much for the raids at the end. As I said, check out on the 19th of June. We've got a huge charity stream coming up with some fantastic names coming to help us raise money. I'll flash that up again. Put your follows in now. Come along on the 19th. It's going to be hype. And until next time, keep on evoking emotions. We'll see you later. Bye. Okay, everyone, stay seated for the raid coming up. We are going to raid I Am Brandon. If you're familiar with I Am Brandon, he runs the Scarathon in cooperation, I believe, with Ravenheart. They both run the Scarathon. And at the moment, they are running a St. Jude's event. So we're going to head across to Brandon. We're going to give Brandon the raid today. So let's take the hype with us. If you can donate to the charity, fantastic. Obviously, these are tough times. If you need to save, we understand. Always donate sustainably. But come and join in the raid with me. Bring the hype. Let's hype the heck out of this channel. Let's get hype. Me and Alex, me and Madam Gandalf, we are both going to be on the Scarathon at the end of the month, I believe on the 31st of May. Need to get more information for you on that, but get ready to bring the hype.